Bienvenidos. Soy la Bruja Espinada, and I am here with a very special new moon in Sagittarius reading. So let's get started. I know I've been out for a while. Just life got busy. I've been well. It's again during the week. It's a little bit more difficult for me to kind of navigate maintaining this spiritual practice of sharing any words of wisdom. So let me actually do this again. I feel like I kind of messed it up. Anywho, so we are starting with a new moon, fresh and fancy free. What words of wisdom do you have for our watchers today? Hope everyone's keeping well, both spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. Now's the time for drinking lots of teas with echinacea, elderberry to help sustain and maintain your immune system. Should have kept that initial card. This happens. So we're now, here we go. We've now entered retreat, and already it begins. Already we've entered with Mercury retrograde, where communication becomes a little bit difficult, and we're communicating that we're discussing the Page of Cups. Perfect, especially in this state of newness. We are following this with the Wheel of Fortune, the Ten of Pentacles, the Moon, perfect timing, the King of Cups, the Five of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, the High Priestess, the Two of Cups, and we're going to end this with the Page of Wands. I have a few cards here too that I'm kind of being called to pull, so we'll see how it goes. All right, starting off strong with the Page of Cups, learning how to navigate new feelings. Now, what you're going to see here, there's an individual that is residing on the beach with a cauldron in front of them or a cup, and there is water being sent out and it's following a flying fish. Now, in a world full of different experiences and emotions, this is kind of saying you're learning, right? So pages are in a state of learning. They are trying new things, learning new things, seeing what pans out, seeing what works, being in a state of learning. In this case, this is bringing up the idea of how to put your feelings out there. Not everyone's great at it. Some people are like, I don't like being emotional. I don't like to express what I feel. I don't like showing people that I'm vulnerable. Not liking to show that you're vulnerable in and of itself is very vulnerable. You put yourself in a situation where things become more difficult because you can't express how you truly feel. And then that builds up resentment eventually because you're expecting people to be a mind reader and no one is. So, learning how to put feelings out there. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why the flying fish is there, right? And this is kind of where it blends a little bit of air, which is in regards to communication, sending the emotion out there, putting it out there to see how it will be received. That's that guiding message. It is time to learn how to put that emotion out there, how to send it out so that it can be received. This is being followed by the Wheel of Fortune. These two kind of tie hand in hand, whereas the Wheel of Fortune comes with taking chances, taking risks, because the Wheel of Fortune is kind of like, it's kind of like the Wheel of Fortune, but I'm referencing the TV show, whereas you have to figure out how much strength on your part will it take for the wheel to land on something that you truly want. So, this is kind of in that aspect when you're sending out feelers to see how it'll be interpreted, how it'll be taken by a different party, a different individual, the person you're trying to communicate with. It's a chance that you have to take to see if it's going to land in your favor. But that's the point, right? No, there is no reward without risk. You have to take the risk to be able to see if you will win the jackpot of everything that you want. Now that we're talking about emotions, we have the moon. With the moon highlights a lot of internal feelings. It highlights a lot of things that we keep in. It highlights a lot of things that um, we don't trust. Now, that's not saying that you don't trust anybody. However, it's more an indicator of, in order to trust that you are ready enough to achieve leveling up in regards to emotions and navigating feelings, is trusting your gut. And this has a lot to do with intuition, especially when we're talking about the way that Page of Cups is set up here, and hoping that it's for the best, right? In order to ascertain and achieve that. Now, with the moon, it's trusting your gut. Again, the moon and the oceans have a lot to do together. And you'll see here, this individual is kind of just bearing it all for the moon. It's, you have to be real with yourself in order to be able to trust your gut. I mean, it's not easy at first, especially when we try to be trusting to everyone and we give everyone the benefit of the doubt. It's not always going to land on the best for us. And so that's one of the things, that it is a learning experience and trying little by little to see what winds up working out. Now, practicing your intuition on who to trust with what information is very important. That's why we're followed with the King of Cups. And who do we see here? Oh, it's the same little guy. So, of course, the King of Cups is someone who is a bit more, who is still concentrating and focusing on understanding their emotions. Here, you see that they are relaxing. They are having a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, really just taking the time to assess what they feel before they send their emotions out. Because when we start, we just start like unloading. Typically, when we're too much in our head, when we don't trust our intuition enough, is that we just blur everything out rather than, and so it becomes a situation where, like, well, I was honest and I shared everything with how I felt. It's like, well, there's knowing when's the right time, knowing when's the right place for it, knowing if, take into consideration if the other individual was ready to hear that, or were you just emotionally dumping. And and I kind of feel like for some people it's like, well, I've done that and I've gotten negative feedback. It's just like, but understanding that maybe that person is too overwhelmed to take on the trauma dumping or emotional dumping at that time. So it's kind of navigating and learning how to do that. It's where we have to learn how to say, hey, do you have space for me? I'm going through something. Do you have the emotional space so that I can vent to you? You have to have that mutual consent. And sometimes, again, it's a learning experience. I was very bad about it. And I thought, but I personally was very used to trauma dumping between friends. And then I've long since learned that that's not good either, because even I've reached a point where, people do that to me, and emotionally I'm not in that space to be able to provide that safe space for them. Or like, hey, what if we set something up for tomorrow while I get over my stuff and see if that works out? And that is not the best thing for everyone. and something to practice. But that's why this little flying fish here is waiting for this person who has achieved that level of emotional maturity to understand I've sat with my emotions, I felt them, I've processed them. Now I'm ready to share what I feel. Now, again, it's not the easiest practice. It's something that has to be worked on, again, because when we're starting, we've held in emotions for so long that we don't trust anybody, or we've trusted just about everybody, that it's gone wrong for us in the past. But as you re-navigate, there's a lot of repressed emotions that have to be expressed. And so it's learning how to communicate those feelings little by little, rather than letting them all boil over. Now, again, it's not an easy practice, because it is a practice. We have to practice this. And this is just highlighted again by the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands usually is some type of conflict or difficulty. And again, it's something that has to be navigated with ease. It's not going to be easy at first. That's just what this is trying to tell you. It's not easy. Nothing is easy. Things eventually become easy because then you have the wisdom to understand who is trustworthy, that you know who you can communicate with. You have figured out the time, when the time and the space is right, or how it is that you truly feel. Because a lot of times we are so overcome with emotions, we have yet to understand ourselves, what we're feeling. And then it's also trying to accept and understand that we can feel two things at once. You can be happy and jealous. You can be angry and relieved. You can be, two feelings existing within one person is normal. And that's the thing where it's coming to terms with how we feel and understanding if we can overcome what it is that we're feeling, right? Or if we need to share it with anyone else, and we can just handle it ourselves. So, no goal is without obstacle, but achievement of what it is that we want to accomplish is there. So, if any of your emotional stressors have been due to finances, work on that communication and know who to share these personal thoughts with. Now, moving on, we see the High Priestess that's following the Queen of Pentacles. Renewal, rebirth, that is coming. The High Priestess, as we see that there is the moon in the background, is someone who she has a book in her hand, that is putting what they are learning into practice. And again, the High Priestess is using a guide. It's using what they learn. It's using what they have, the knowledge that they have at hand, to practice what they preach, right? So that's just that reminder that it's, as you start learning, you don't have to be a master of what it is that you're trying to put into practice. It's a learning experience. This is just that reinforced reminder. We are also followed by the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups signifies union. It can signify love. It can but you see here that this is overall a collaboration, a partnership, a union, and we see this with two individuals embracing, two snakes embracing, but the snakes don't necessarily mean anything negative, as some people may interpret it as. The two snakes intertwining is something of this is just a reminder that snakes are how do I want to say this? Snakes are ever changing. Their skin dries out as they grow, and as they grow, they shed their skin. This is just that reminder that when you come into a union, the renewal and rejuvenation process is ever going. Change is ever going. It's just that in this instance, when you bring and share a union together, you will both be growing still. The growing does not stop. So it's just that reminder, and I feel like it's calling out to me. If this is in regard, if your concern is in regards to love union, one of the things that is being highlighted here, and I feel it needs to be addressed, is that reminder that whenever you enter a partnership, whether it's with a friend or with a lover, people change, people grow. And sometimes, we grow together and sometimes we grow apart. And there's nothing wrong with that. It sucks, but that's how we learn to navigate those feelings, is being able to accept that sometimes nothing is forever. I mean, forever means eternally, and that's the thing where as humans, we're not eternal. Feelings aren't eternal because, you know, they change. But that's just that reminder, not saying that um, life, love isn't lifelong, but it is work and understanding that growth will happen regardless if we want it to happen or not. That's that reminder. Not a bad signification. This is a realistic signification. But like I said, highlighting the snakes, we are then transitioning to the card of Page of Wands. Is understanding our passions. And here we have growth. Growth happens through us with every bit of light that we have. And this is just being metaphorical at this point, where when things grow, when things change, when we learn things, knowledge is much like the sun. And the more that you have, the more you are capable of learning new things. Things will grow within us as we learn more information. And we see this here. That's what's being highlighted. Again, we are learning new things. So with this transition, there's a lot of emotion here, a lot of water that's being highlighted, and things we have to come to terms with. But a lot of it has to do with good things, highlighting the idea of growth, learning new things, things that you're passionate about, new things that you become passionate about, that you are turned to. Like, for example, let's say that you have always been fascinated with learning how to work on cars, and you went to school for that and everything, and then now you learn something different because let's say that there's something you never knew before. So let's say, hey, I was always really interested in the way that cars run. I was introduced to something in regards to how, I'm trying to think of this in the same vein, like let's say instead of it being cars, now you met someone who really likes the desert toys, that those quads and other things like that, and so now you want to learn more about that. Same vein, just a little bit different. Learning you're growing. So then we have the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands. The Two of Wands here just signifies similar, just being able to make that decision and having to balance what you're passionate about and the things that you need to focus on working on. Such as, your monetary gain, if that's something that you are in pursuit of, or if there's more education that you're seeking. It's just finding the balance between what you're passionate about and what you feel that you need to get done. And learning how to marry the two, how to bring the two together, how to make sure that that union is a peaceful and balanced union. It is not an easy task. It is not without struggle or difficulty. We tend to overfocus And so when we multitask, we get a little heavier on one side and on the other. These are just those reminders, it's possible to balance. It's possible to bring two ideas together to make a union work. It's just understanding how to balance. Balance, balance, balance. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. Let us move on with the cards of fate. Mighty fates. What additional lessons do you have for us? Oof, okay. We have 3 cards. We have the Weaver. We have the Alchemist. And Get Curious. Very, very interesting. Even before reading these, I've actually never pulled Get Curious before. But these are about creation. So I'm very interested to read about these. Or to share that information. Let's see. The Weaver. The Weaver. And how about if I actually use the index? Okay. Here we have the Weaver. The Weaver is the master of their destiny. This deck is named the Threads of Fate because each one of us has thousands of threads that, when combined, weave the fabric of our life. We can braid, nurture, or sever any strand at any time, and in doing so, we are the Weaver. This card urges you to take inventory of all the threads active within your life at the moment. What needs to happen moving forward? Which ones need to grow stronger? Which ones need to be cut? What actions can you take to tend the threads of your fate? And fun fact, we have threads right here that are connecting one to another. So just putting that out there. Now we have the Alchemist. The Alchemist card indicates a time of metamorphosis. It is a call to view everything in your current life as an opportunity for growth. Right now is a potent time to plant seeds of what you want to invite in. It is also a reminder that our thoughts are incredibly powerful. We may not feel like we have a lot of control over our lives, but we can work at changing our thought patterns to which ones empower us. Whatever they are given, the alchemist is able to transmute. They may have a handful of bad ingredients, but are able to make magic with what they have. It can be a long process, but they hold a vision for the final product while continuing to show up in their negative situation and slowly work at transmuting it. Someone who is in the shadow of alchemist may not believe in themselves. They may have both fear of failure and fear of success, keeping them paralyzed in their current situation. They can also minimize situations and keep their true feelings inside, as opposed to getting them out and moving on. A key to being an alchemist is naming what is happening to you so you can work with it. I don't make this shit up. These are the highlighted cards for the alchemist. Now let us finish with Get Creative. Get Creative. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Get Curious. Oof, oof. They looked so similar. Here we go. Now here's the correct one. Get curious. A lot is said about how important it is to have a positive mindset, but not as much about a curious mindset. Curiosity can be the bridge to shifting our thought patterns. It is neutral but inviting. When we feel stuck, cynical, and bored with life, tapping into our curiosity can spark a rapid domino effect within our thoughts. There's so much in this world we will never know, but to simply begin wondering about what is around you can snowball into passions and excitement you never knew you had. If you are unsure where to begin, simply look around. How do flowers get their color? How do snakes evolve? Do dogs taste the same things as humans? Nothing is too silly. Again, that reminder of growth, that reminder of change, that reminder that you're always in a state of learning new things as you level up. So I don't make this shit up. I sincerely don't. I do this live. You guys see me do it as I record. You guys see me do it. Anywho, animal spirit guides. What message do you have for our watchers? And again, we are entering the new moon tomorrow. Perfect time to set your intentions of what you want to manifest, what the things you're going to work on. And remember, do not use a negative tone when you think about them. Don't speak about what you don't want. Speak on what you do want. You can't say like, oh, I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want this. I don't want that. Okay, and the universe will be just sitting there saying, all right, that's what you don't want, but what do you want? And be as specific as possible. And yes, things that we may want now can change in the future, but focus on what it is, step at a time, one step at a time. What do you want right now, between now and the next month? What do you want to happen? Animal spirit guides. What do you have for us? Okay. Here we go. Honestly, I was trying to avoid having so many cards, but oof, we have a few. We have the eagle spirit. Spirit has your back. The seahorse spirit, watch and wait. The koala spirit has a plan. And last but not least, we have the brown bear spirit. Take time out. Quite a few. Let's lock them out before it gets any longer. Eagle spirit. Think of the eagles flying high above the other birds, soaring on the wind. Eagle spirit has appeared to ask whether you're willing to soar to new heights, even if that means solitude for a while. Truly, all of the wisdom of the world is available to you. When storms flash across the sky, it is eagle spirit that raises you above it all, helping you conquer fear and overcome adversity, reminding you that spirit has your back and wants you to experience life at its fullest. At this moment, you are meant to know that you have the highest of wisdom and courage within, gifted to you by spirit and all the angels. Boldly build your nest in a lofty space and know that now you can fly effortlessly, proudly embodying eagle spirit in all her glory and grace, claiming what is truly yours in divine timing. If you are walking awkwardly and feeling embarrassed, eagle spirit is here to tell you that it is only because right now you are meant to fly. Soar over the troubles that you are feeling scared and alone. See the big picture, yet retain your eagle eye for the details that help you claim your wisdom and courage. Or perhaps you're making yourself small for the sake of getting others to accept you. Now is not the time to be vulnerable and dependent, for you have the wings to fly on your own, and you need to do that at this time. There is no need to huddle in shelter or even seek out a flock to support you, for eagle spirit says you have tremendous wisdom and courage within. Let it arise so that you may soar proudly with the angels serving as the wind beneath your wings. From these heights, you can make the best and most powerful choices for the highest good of all. Now, I want to remind you that the word that popped out earlier was vulnerable. Just saying. We continue with the seahorse spirit. Hovering gracefully, the seahorse observes with the perspective of one who is not engulfed by the drama. Remaining at a distance from all the turbulence, seahorse spirit appears this time to remind you of the need to be neutral and gain perspective. Your message from seahorse is, not my circus, not my monkeys. Spirit wants you to know that even if you are tempted to jump into the fray and try to fix things, the best way to serve yourself and others right now is to remain calm and simply watch and see. Another message here is that whatever your query, Seahorse Spirit asks you to step back from it. Be willing to explore things from different angles rather than a single one. And just observe what is possible. From the perspective of the position of the neutral observer, you will discover a myriad of opportunities and a deeper understanding of what you seek and why. And you will know beauty, truth, love, and wisdom. Are you holding on to judgment, sure that your perspective is the only correct way to look at things? There are as many perspectives as there are creatures in the sea, and when Seahorse Spirit appears, you are reminded to detach from the experience so that you can view it from more than one angle. Pay attention to your hidden beliefs and how they affect the way that you think, feel, and act. Are you being fair to all involved, or do you need to step back? Perhaps the drama you have been drawn to is your own. Whatever the actions of others, your challenge is to be non-reactive and not take their words or behaviors personally. Their turbulence may have little to do with you, so remain neutral until you know more. Your perspective may be quite different in time. We jump back to Koala Spirit. In nature, the koala moves slowly through the branches of the eucalyptus tree, leisurely chewing the leaves, reminding us that life is not a race or competition. Chasing around after every distraction can keep us from recognizing that we have all we need and that Spirit will always be there with gifts to sustain us. You're being asked to trust that by moving slowly with faith in the abundance that is everywhere, surrounding to a power greater than yourself, you will be able to experience the manifestation of your desire. As you take your time enjoying the riches available to you right now, sitting peacefully, you begin to radiate the joy and abundance you seek. Spirit is here to help you discover happiness, pleasure, and contentment, all gifts that are yours now and in the future. Have faith and trust in Spirit's plan for you and know that you are loved and cherished. Are you feeling uneasy and mistrustful of the world? Have you been hiding in a safe spot, afraid to venture out because you're convinced that life and other people will disappoint you? Koala Spirit has appeared to let you know that your faith is misplaced. The present safety you seek is already passing away because all the things are temporary and outer conditions are always changing. Find your safety by placing your faith and trust in Spirit, who will grow the abundance that is already yours. Perhaps you're acting slowly and overly cautious because you lack faith that there is more for you out there and than what you know. You have boxed yourself into a safe place that has nothing else to give you and become so familiar with it that you have forgotten to explore. Are you feeling pessimistic and convinced that there is nothing more out there for you? Koala Spirit reminds you that self-care is meant to replenish you so that you can venture out again in faith, trusting that there is no limit to the joy Spirit wants you to experience. Be good to yourself and reconnect with spirit to claim your faith in things yet unseen. Woo! It's a lot to be said by Koala Spirit. Now let's finish strong with the Brown Bear Spirit. There is time to act and time to focus your intention on patient strategizing. The arrival of Brown Bear Spirit signals that you are best served by foregoing hard work towards your goals at this moment. And instead of taking the time out to meditate or just take a nap so you can refresh yourself and begin planning what you want to co-create next, come to know the lay of the lands as you contemplate and imagine what you might do in this vast space of possibility before you. And begin forming a plan. Remember, sleep allows for dreaming and rest allows for a clear-headed strategizing. How might you become the person you wish to be and experience whatever your heart desires? Insights will arise as you explore the possibilities and begin envisioning your plan. Knowing what you want will ensure you use your energy wisely in the days ahead. Be patient at this time. Relax and be calm and peaceful so that you can recharge. The call for action will come later. When you become so frazzled that you can't decide how to move forward, Brown Bear Spirit arrives to remind you to let go of your impatience in getting to the answers and solving the problems that face you. Now is the time for rest and meditation. Take a break, let insights arise, and know that you have plenty of time to make plans. Brown Bear Spirit reminds you that sometimes the best and most effective action is non-action. Allowing the situation around you to reveal itself to you so that you can better understand it. Remember that what is yours will never be withheld from you, so you really can relax and wait until the next right action is revealed. Miracles come from out of nowhere, and yours will arrive on Great Spirit's timetable. That does highlight a huge, huge part of what we've spoken today. Well, I will leave you with that. I sincerely hope all this helps, and I'll see you guys next time.